Hey LeGrand Alive, welcome to Coffee with Will, brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Anything to Digital, EO&I, and Les Schwab Tire Center. And I am here today with Brian Cole, who is the Veterans Employment Specialist at WorkSource Oregon. And he is here today to chat with me a little bit about veterans employment and WorkSource Oregon and how they all fit together. So Brian, thank you so much for chatting with me today. So tell me a little bit, so you said that there is a lot that goes into a veterans employment specialist. Break that down for me. What does that mean?
Okay, so I've got two jobs. I work half-time working with veterans, getting them job ready and reducing their barriers to employment. And also, the other half of my job is working with employers. So I do an educational piece with employers, like tax benefits that they're eligible for, like WOTC, Work Opportunity Tax Credit. And then just the availability of veterans that I have in the area, what their skills are, and I match. Half of my job is getting the veterans job ready, and the other half is getting those veterans matched to the right employer.
Absolutely.
Perfect employer.
Absolutely. So now actually in our last coffee with Will, we talked a little bit with Matt about that synthesis about how people, you guys at WorkSource Oregon are working with employees and employers to find that perfect harmony, that match, to make sure that they're all on the same page. Now, with veterans, is there differences that you've seen working with veterans than maybe working with people who have not served in the armed forces? You yourself are a 30-year military veteran.
Yep.
And so have you seen differences in that?
Well, I think that they come from a diverse background. They come from all over. Most of the veterans that we see here in the region, because I cover 8 counties. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you get around Eastern Oregon a little bit.
I do. So on the getting veterans job ready, that's 4 counties. That's Umatilla, Morrow, Union, and Wallowa. Yeah. And so on the employer piece, I cover the rest of the eastern part of the state. But all the veterans coming back here are from here. They're coming back to stay with their parents, or they were here before they left.
Yeah.
So they all have a reason to be here. They have the extra experience of having potentially traveled the world.
Yeah.
So they're bringing those skills and talents back. Plus, they've had other jobs as well. They have a work history before they went in the military, and they may have had a work history since they've been out, and I just haven't seen them yet.
Okay. So now that itself, like moving in and out of the military, that's a big transition, and that was something else we kind of talked a little bit about with Matt. And transitions aren't always easy. Speaking from a personal experience of someone who has transitioned out of the military, were there challenges in that? Do veterans face sort of challenges in that?
I guess my example is a little different because I was National Guard most of it. So I did do one tour in Iraq in 2005, but so as a National Guard soldier, you're a citizen soldier. So after that weekend, you come back and transition to your regular job. So we did that transition once a month. That's a lot easier for the Guard people than the active duty forces. I mean, they get out, they've had a paradigm shift, they might have a cultural change.
Yeah.
They could have been in 8 years, 10 years, 20, and they're coming back to a rural community that has somewhat changed or stayed the same.
Yeah.
But that can be a challenge just because they've gone from either serving abroad or been in a larger base, like say Fort Lewis, Washington, or wherever they're coming from in a metropolitan type setting, and then come back to rural Oregon.
So there's almost a level of
culture shock.
Culture shock.
There is.
So how do you guys, how do you work with veterans to sort of engage that, but then also to, overcome those boundaries and get them into employment?
Well, they're identified upon entry. You had Matt on here before. Usually anybody in the office they'll do a questionnaire, and they kind of identify if they've had any prior service, and then those individuals get flagged over to me. And I sit down with them and we go through their background and their history and their educational. I take a kind of a holistic approach and find out what are their goals, where do they want to go, what resources that they have available here locally, or maybe they want to transition. They may have landed here, but now they immediately want to go to school at on the west side of the state, or go to school here. And so I just sit down with them and get through creating a plan, an individual employment plan, and getting them towards that path.
Very cool, very cool. Now, so speaking of someone, who came out of the military, National Guard, or maybe just having worked with a lot of veterans, making that transition, some people might think that it is easier to find a job as a veteran, because many people have a lot of respect for veterans. Is that the case, or is there unique challenges in finding employment as a veteran?
I think there is. There's probably the most distinct one is just participating. Because when I got out of the military, even though I was National Guard, most of that time I was on the west side of the state, and I got out. I already was college educated. I'd used my schooling, and I didn't know really what I wanted to do. And it takes time to find yourself. And there really was my position wasn't filled down there. So it was, you're kind of drift, and you've got to go out and find the part of the O in my job, the outreach, is to go find veterans and get them engaged to participate. Because I was in this community for probably a good 6 months to a year. Even though I lived here, I really wasn't engaged yet. And it was like just getting out to go and use the employment office was a big step for me.
Wow.
And so I had worked, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was too young to retire, basically, and I still needed to do more. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do quite yet.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just I bounced around between a couple of jobs before I found the one I'm in right now, and it's been a great fit because I got to live that experience, and now I'm the person that's in the right position to make that not happen for somebody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting, that's really interesting.
It was like, so I get him in the chair and I was like, hey, I was you. This is, I've got college, they just, whatever, they break down what their goals are. And I'm like, okay, I have some of that story in my storyline. So
absolutely,
I can kind of walk them towards getting to where they may want to go.
So last thing that we'll talk a little bit about before we kind of finish it off here, so maybe there's some veterans who are watching, the show right now. Someone who has been in the military, and either they're thinking about transitioning out, or they are transitioning out.
Yeah.
They've quit and they're looking for new employment, or they're whatever that position they are, they're moving into that transition world. Are there some tips that you could give them for finding employment and getting engaged in the employment?
The biggest tip is come see me. It's like, if you're a parent, a loved one, a spouse, or the veteran yourself, and you're looking for work or to improve employment, it's huge. Just come down and go down to the employment office, talk to any of the folks, they'll get you referred to me. And you can go online, employment.oregon.gov. Is a good one. Go on there and get signed up in our iMatch system, and that way I can see them, find the person, the veteran. And I can do my job over the phone, obviously, because I cover all these different counties. So if somebody walks into a Hermiston office or Pendleton, they just pick up the phone and call me. And I'll get online or get on the computer and walk them right through what they need. And then I can email the resources to them.
Absolutely.
So I do everything pretty much, and that's the day and age we're in, it's remote.
Absolutely. So someone in Morrow County or Baker County or whatever could come and do this and just talk to you on the phone?
Yep. If I can see them through iMatch, then if they're signed up, they do their work history and their educational history, their military history is all in there, plus their, they can upload a resume, and then I can go through all that and assist them with improving their resume, maybe taking different classes, whatever they need, I can get them referred to those resources.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you heard it right there. If you're a veteran and you're looking for that, moving into the transition time, stop by or call and chat with Brian. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming in and chat with me. I really appreciate you. And thank you, LeGrand Alive, for tuning in to this Coffee with Will, brought to you by Grand Ron Hospital, Anything to Digital, EONI, Les Schwab Tires, and Northwest Furniture and Mattress. These are great sponsors, and if you get the opportunity to go and proprietary their business, they make these shows possible. They make it possible for you to see your favorite people on live or somewhat live internet television. So please say thank you and maybe purchase something while you're in the store. So thanks, LeGrand Alive, and we'll see you next time for your next episode of Coffee with Will.